but I have got Rosie from Caudwell LymeCo charity on the phone. Are you there, Rosie?
I am. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, belter! I can hear you. Yeah, this is
Great.
spectacular.
Others can too.
Yeah. Well, there's lights going through my mixer desk, so that's always a good sign. And we'll find out.
Good sign. Good
yeah,
stuff.
Exactly. There's a slight delay in what people hear and what we're saying, so we'll soon find out. There's about 17 seconds lag between us anyway. So thanks for joining us, Rosie, this morning. And I guess
no problem. Thanks for having me.
It really is a pleasure for all the wrongest reasons. I'm getting messages coming in saying, "Wow, the technology works." So thanks very much, Simon, for saying.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks to everyone that's
confirmed. Yeah. I'm what's the right word? What's the opposite to fan of ticks?
Oh, good question. A hater of ticks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I always say I get about a dozen tick bites a year, and as of yesterday, I'm up to 21. So when a mutual friend put us in touch with each other, didn't she? And
yeah.
So it was a really
lovely Lisa at Kidonk.
Yeah, it's well worth. So yeah, what are you doing some clothing design with them? Is that how you've got in touch?
Yeah, so for those who don't know about us, so we're called LymeCo. We're a charity that raises money for Lyme disease research, and we began a partnership with a really fab children's outdoor clothing company called Kidonk Clothing, and they're been really great supporters of ours, helping us to raise awareness with their families, their customers and their families and their networks who were all keen on the outdoors and therefore more at risk of tick bites. And they're donating 10% of their proceeds from their summer clothing to our Lyme disease research fund, and we've also created a really great resource about tick awareness that's aimed towards children. So for all the people that are going into summer or forest schools, or perhaps even if you just spend a lot of time outdoors with the kids and want a fun way for them to learn, we've just created a resource with children for children. So yeah, it's been really great to work with them.
Yeah, brilliant. Lisa's just so enthusiastic, and she's just brilliant.
She is, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with her.
Yeah, she's yes, I know. I met on it was a Lancaster University course that we were going on together with a number of other amazing business owners from across the region, actually, that I met Lisa on. So, but anyway, yeah, if we flip over into more of the tick chat, and just to explain, yeah, you did a presentation for me. On about for jogging pals the other night to look at some awareness for runners. But yeah, what is a tick then? What is it? What are they for people that might not know?
Yeah, sure. So ticks are like really small spiders. Basically, they've got 8 legs like a spider. They generally live in forests, foliage, long grass, woods. They can also be found in back gardens and in urban parks as well. And they basically feed on the blood of their host, be that an animal or indeed a human. And some of those ticks carry bacteria that can cause Lyme disease, which is a condition that not many people know of. But it's one of those that if the signs are spotted and treated early, then people generally have a really good chance of full recovery. But if it's not spotted and treated early, then it can develop into quite a real chronic and life-limiting illness, of which some people never recover. And as the symptoms are so similar to a lot of other illnesses, it's really important to make people aware of what those symptoms are so they can get help if they need it. But obviously, prevention is always better than the cure. So we try our best to kind of raise awareness and deliver, talks like we did for Jogging Pals last night, on, where you're most at risk, how to prevent getting tick bites in the first place, how to correctly remove one. But like I say, also spot those symptoms so you can get the help that you need at the earliest point.
Yeah, and so yeah, what's the? I think, yeah. How do you spot them? I know obviously, but how do you spot them? What does it look like? Yeah,
sure. So the initial symptoms of Lyme disease are a little bit like the flu, and also a little bit like coronavirus, which is why we're really keen to raise awareness, particularly now, because we're just moving into peak tick. Well, we're moving in towards the middle of peak tick season, which is May to October. And the initial symptoms for Lyme are like a fever, aches, neck pain, swollen glands, which, like I say, do have a slight crossover with coronavirus. And we do know a few people who have been diagnosed with coronavirus when in fact they had Lyme disease. So we're quite keen to make people aware of that crossover. But where they differ is that coronavirus is more of a respiratory thing. So if you are developing kind of breathing issues or those symptoms that I said about loss of taste and sense of smell, then you're more likely to be dealing with coronavirus. So yeah, initial symptoms of Lyme is a bit like the flu, and fatigue as well. And then as they develop, some people develop kind of really severe migratory arthritis or joint pain, muscle pain, severe fatigue. For some people, it can travel into the nervous system, so they might have problems with numbness or tingling or paralysis or nerve pain. For some, it can travel into the heart and cause heart issues. Some sufferers have eye issues as well. So it can affect the brain. So it really has quite far-reaching and wide-reaching symptoms. And some people have investigations for things like MS or Parkinson's, and a lot of Lyme disease sufferers end up getting diagnosed with things like chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, which some of you listeners have probably heard of.
Yeah.
Which is basically just a kind of name that's given to a group of symptoms, not really like a cause. So the only symptom that is individual to Lyme disease is the EM rash, some call it, or like a bullseye rash. But not every person gets that rash. Research shows at most 2 in 3, possibly less. And it appears a bit like it says for a lot of people, like a bullseye, so there's a red dot in the middle and then a central clearing and then a red ring around the edge. But it doesn't appear like a clear bullseye for some. What's more important about it is that the rash is generally flat, and it's red and it spreads over a number of days, and it's generally not itchy. But for some, it might turn to look like a bullseye.
Yeah. And so, just tick removal was one of the things we briefly said off air as well. Was how if people can see they've got something in the skin, basically, what's the best way to get it out?
So we're one of the key points that we always make is when you've been outside walking the dog, or you've been camping, or you've been walking through forest or long grass areas, always do a thorough tick check when you get home. Ticks, they like warm crevices. I can't think of a nice way to say
No, that is the right word, yeah.
I need to keep it clean for the radio, obviously. Places like inside your waistband or bra strap, or in the crook of your elbow or your knee, behind your ears. A hairline tends to be one for the children. They're often found there. In the groin area between your toes. And if you do find a tick attached, we say do try and remove it as soon as possible. There is some kind of old school thinking that a tick has to be attached for 24 to 48 hours in order to transfer the bacteria, but truth is there hasn't actually been enough research for that to absolutely be the case. So the best thing to do is, if you can remove it sooner rather than later, don't wait to go to your GP or to a walk-in centre unless there's one literally half an hour down the road. And the best thing to use is either kind of a tick removal tool, so you can get them for like a few quid on Amazon, or pointed tweezers, specifically pointed ones as opposed to flat ones, because you want to get as close to the head as possible. And if you use the kind of flat edge ones, you're more likely to squeeze the tick's body, which is where the bacteria is, and that's what you want to avoid. Have a thorough tick check. Bear in mind that ticks can be as tiny as a poppy seed. They're easily mistaken for a speck of dirt or, a freckle. So you really do have to look for them. I'd say use a tick removal tool or pointed tweezers to get rid of them, pull them out as soon as you can. Wash and disinfect the bite afterwards. And we always say as well, ignore any old wives' tale about putting any Vaseline on it or oil or setting it alight, which seems quite drastic, but we do hear about that. Because you're more likely to aggravate the tick. I think the thinking is that if you put something like that on it, it'll suffocate and drop off, but actually what you're more likely to do is aggravate it, and then if it regurgitates the contents of its stomach into you as a reaction to that, then again you're more likely to have the Lyme disease bacteria transferred. So don't put any substance on it. Just try and get it out.
Yeah, and as soon as possible, isn't it? Yeah, I've been surprised at how, I don't know, they just seem to have been, the one I found on my legs have seemed to have been a lot smaller this year than I've noticed in previous years as well. They are tiny, aren't they? I was running with a friend yesterday, and I got bitten and removed it, and she said, she couldn't believe how small it was. She said, how did I know it was a tick? And I just said, well, it's the benefit of experience. It's like you said, it's like a speck of dirt, but I've tried to flick it off, and it won't flick off. So it's then that, or you can physically, I know the legs of them are tiny, but you can physically see the legs moving. And I've got it just seems to be my hair.
Quite creepy, isn't it, really, when you think about it? But, not every tick has Lyme disease. Lake District, obviously, certainly from the point of your experience and, from what we've heard from patient stories and research before, although it's not the absolute top hotspot, that tends to be more kind of south of England, southwest, it is kind of up there. And if ticks do seem to be on an increase, it's definitely something that's worth, being aware of. And like I say, knowing what to look out for will surely help.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a load of music going on somewhere. I'm not sure what's going on there. Sorry, that's Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but I was just hearing some music feedback.
Okay, I couldn't hear anything this end.
No, that's all right. It must just be.
Might have been your head, right?
Yeah, it could well be. Yeah, there's definitely some gremlins in the studio this morning, though, so it could be anything. And I'm just conscious of time, and you obviously, as with all charities that haven't been able to do anything or do any fundraising during COVID, while we've all been locked down, you have got some things, some challenges that you're trying to encourage.
We, like as you mentioned, like many charities, we've kind of suffered from the cancellation of fundraising events and challenges and stuff. So we've created a virtual challenge that kind of anyone can do, anyone can get involved in, where it's called Walk, Ride or Climb for Lyme. So we're encouraging people anytime between now to the 30th of September to create their own challenge around one of those activities. So it could be anything from walking a mile a day for a month to cycling 100 miles in a week, or climbing your stairs, the equivalent of Mount Snowdon if you're kind of on lockdown or you can't get to a mountain very easily, to raise money for Lyme disease. So if there's anybody out there that has either had a friend or family affected by Lyme disease and affected themselves, or is keen to kind of champion an an unwell known kind of cause that needs that attention, we'd really appreciate people getting involved. And you can find it on our website, which is literally CaudwellLyme.com. But also, if there's anybody listening that thinks they might benefit from a free awareness talk, so if they're a part of a community group or they work for an organisation whose staff and volunteers work outdoors, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us, and we'll deliver that online for you for free. And we also run a patient information and advice service for people who think they might have Lyme disease and may need some support on the kind of NICE guideline, the NICE guidance for Lyme disease in kind of getting diagnosis and treatment. So, but also welcome to get in touch with us for that too.
Awesome. So I think what I'll do actually is, if you're all right with it, I'll post the link on our Facebook page to the YouTube video that you did the other night. The presentation you did for us, if you're all right with that, and then your contact details are obviously in that, and more people can see what it's all about and watch that great presentation that you did for us.
Absolutely. Spreading the word is, and it mentions about, let's say it has our website in there, and it has some details about Walk, Ride or Climb for Lyme towards the end as well, so people can always pick it up there. But just as a last thing to say, we're not about scaremongering here. We know how important being outdoors is to kind of physical and mental health, and we really encourage people to enjoy the outdoors. We're all using it more recently after being in lockdown and just spending kind of time socially distanced outside. We should absolutely do that. We just want to make sure that people kind of are aware of the potential risks and know how to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, exactly. It is just check yourself, isn't it? It was when you come back in
check yourself when you come back in. Wear insect repellent if you've got kind of bare skin, that will work against ticks. Try and keep some well-maintained pathways. But just check yourselves, know the symptoms to look out for, and speak to GP if you have any of them.
Awesome. So we'll leave it there if that's all right, Rosie. Thanks very much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me.
And I'll stick some stuff on our Facebook page to promote the charity. And for your purposes, I'll send you a link that'll be. We'll post the show on Mixcloud afterwards, so your charity can listen again if they want to.
Thank you so much.